I need to tell you something important right now, and I need you to really hear me. If you clicked on this video, it wasn't by accident. Nothing in this universe happens by chance, and the fact that you're here, reading these words at this exact moment, means something profound is unfolding in your life. You've been asking questions, haven't you? Maybe you've been lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering when things will finally fall into place. Maybe you've been feeling stuck, confused or lost, like you're walking through a fog with no clear direction. Perhaps you've been praying, meditating, or simply sending silent wishes into the void, desperately hoping that someone or something is listening. Well, I'm here to tell you that the universe has heard you, and this video is your answer. But here's the catch. You have to stay until the very end to receive the full message that's meant specifically for you. The universe works in mysterious ways, and sometimes the most powerful revelations come in the final moments when you least expect them. So please, commit to yourself right now that you'll watch this entire video, because what I'm about to share with you has the potential to completely transform your perspective and shift the energy in your life. Before we dive deep into this journey together, I want to ask you to do something that will help us create a powerful collective energy. Let's reach 100 comments on this video. Yes, 100 voices coming together, sharing their experiences, their hopes, and their transformations. When you comment, you're not just leaving words on a screen, you're putting your intention out into the universe, and you're connecting with thousands of other souls who are on similar journeys. The universe responds to collective energy, and when we come together with a shared purpose, miracles happen. So as you watch, think about what you want to say, what question you want to ask, or what insight you want to share. And please, subscribe to this channel and watch until the very end, because the algorithm rewards those who stay, and the universe rewards those who commit. When you subscribe and watch completely, you're telling the platform and the cosmos that you're ready to receive more messages like this one. You'll be notified first when new content arrives, and you'll always be ahead of those who hesitate or leave too soon. The universe favors the committed, the dedicated, and the present. To continue helping you, all the universe asks is that you leave a motivational comment on this video. Something that comes from your heart, something that might inspire someone else who's struggling. Your words have power, and they create ripples that extend far beyond what you can imagine. We need to hit this goal to keep bringing you more inspiring stories like this one, so please be part of this collective mission. Now, let me take you on a journey that begins with a simple but profound truth. You are not alone, and you are not forgotten. There's a woman I want to tell you about. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah had been going through one of the darkest periods of her life. She had lost her job 6 months ago, a job she had dedicated 15 years of her life to, a job that had defined her identity and given her purpose. When she received that termination notice, it felt like the ground had been ripped out from beneath her feet. She applied to hundreds of positions, attended countless interviews, and each rejection felt like another confirmation that she was worthless, that she had nothing valuable to offer the world. Her savings were dwindling, her bills were piling up, and the anxiety was consuming her from the inside out. She would wake up every morning with a knot in her stomach, and she would go to bed every night with tears on her pillow. She felt abandoned by the universe, forgotten by any higher power that might exist. She kept asking the same question over and over. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? She had been a good person, hadn't she? She had worked hard, treated people with respect, and tried to live with integrity. So why was life punishing her so severely? One particularly difficult morning, Sarah woke up feeling completely defeated. She had another interview scheduled for that afternoon, but she had lost all hope. She didn't even want to go. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, and for the first time in her life she spoke out loud to the universe. She said, "If you're really there, if there's really some greater plan or purpose, I need a sign. I need to know that I'm not going through this for nothing. I need to know that there's a reason, that there's something better waiting for me on the other side of this darkness. Please just give me a sign that I should keep going." She felt foolish saying it out loud, but she was desperate. And desperation has a way of making us reach beyond our logical minds into the realm of faith and possibility. Sarah dragged herself out of bed and went through the motions of getting ready for the interview. She put on her professional clothes, did her hair and makeup, and tried to summon whatever energy she had left. As she was driving to the interview location, she stopped at a red light and glanced over at the car next to her. There was a bumper sticker on the back that read, "Everything happens for a reason, and sometimes that reason is to teach you to trust the journey." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. It was such a specific message, and it felt like it was speaking directly to her, directly to the question she had asked the universe just an hour earlier. She took a deep breath and decided to shift her perspective. Instead of going into this interview with defeat and desperation, she would go in with curiosity and openness. She would trust that whatever was meant to happen would happen, and she would accept it as part of her journey. The interview itself was unlike any she had experienced before. The woman who interviewed her was warm, genuine, and seemed genuinely interested in Sarah as a person, not just as a potential employee. They talked for over an hour, and the conversation flowed naturally, touching on topics far beyond the job description. They discussed philosophy, personal growth, life challenges, and dreams for the future. At the end of the interview, the woman smiled and said something that would change Sarah's life. "You know, Sarah, I can tell you have been through something difficult recently. I can see it in your eyes, and I can hear it in the way you talk about your past experiences. But I want you to know that everything you've been through has prepared you for something greater. This position isn't what you need right now. What you need is something that will challenge you to grow in ways you never imagined. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to hire you for this role, but I want to introduce you to someone who's starting a new venture, and I think you would be absolutely perfect for it. It's going to require courage, it's going to push you out of your comfort zone, and it's going to demand that you trust yourself in ways you never have before. Are you willing to take that leap?" Sarah was stunned. This wasn't the outcome she expected, but something deep inside her recognized that this was exactly what the universe had been preparing her for. She said yes, without even knowing what the opportunity was. The woman made a phone call right there in the office, and within 2 days, Sarah was meeting with an entrepreneur who was launching a company focused on helping people navigate career transitions and discover their true purpose. The entrepreneur offered Sarah a position as a partner, not just an employee. It was a risk because the company was brand new and there were no guarantees of success. But Sarah felt something she hadn't felt in months: excitement, purpose, and hope. She accepted the offer, and over the next year, the company grew beyond anyone's expectations. Sarah discovered talents and strengths she never knew she had. She found her true calling, which wasn't just working for someone else's vision, but creating and contributing to something that made a real difference in people's lives. Looking back, Sarah realized that her job loss, which had felt like the worst thing that could have happened to her, was actually the universe redirecting her toward her true path. All those rejections weren't failures. They were protections. The universe was closing doors that would have kept her stuck in a life that wasn't aligned with her highest potential. And that sign she asked for, that bumper sticker at the red light, was the universe's way of saying, "I hear you, I see you, and I'm guiding you, even when you can't see the path yourself." Now, let me ask you something. What have you been asking for? What questions have you been sending out into the universe? Maybe you've been asking for financial relief. Perhaps you're drowning in debt, struggling to make ends meet, and you can't see a way out of the cycle of lack and scarcity. If that's you, I want you to understand something crucial. Your financial situation is not a reflection of your worth, and it's not your permanent reality. The universe is abundant, and there is more than enough for everyone. But sometimes, financial struggles come into our lives to teach us important lessons about value, resourcefulness, and our relationship with money. Have you been treating money as an enemy, something that's always scarce and hard to come by? Or have you been treating it as energy, something that flows in and out naturally when you're aligned with your purpose and values? The universe might be asking you to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, from fear to trust. Let me give you some practical guidance on this. Start by getting brutally honest about your financial situation. Write down every debt, every expense, every source of income. Look at it clearly without judgment. Then create a simple plan. Not an overwhelming, complicated budget that you'll abandon in a week, but a realistic plan that feels manageable. Cut out one unnecessary expense that doesn't truly add value to your life. Maybe it's a subscription you never use, or maybe it's buying coffee out every day when you could make it at home. Take that money you save and put it toward your highest priority debt or into a small emergency fund. It doesn't matter if it's only $20 a week. What matters is that you're taking action and showing the universe that you're ready to be a good steward of what you have. As you do this, practice gratitude for what you already have. Every morning, thank the universe for the roof over your head, the food in your kitchen, the clothes on your back. Gratitude shifts your vibration from lack to abundance, and the universe responds to that shift by bringing more into your life. Also, be open to unexpected opportunities. Sometimes the universe delivers financial relief in ways you would never anticipate. A random refund, a forgotten savings account, a friend offering you work, a creative idea that generates income. Stay alert and stay open. I want to share another story with you about a man named David who learned this lesson in the most unexpected way. David had been struggling with his business for 3 years. He had poured everything he had into it, his savings, his time, his energy, his dreams. But no matter what he did, he couldn't seem to break through to profitability. He was thousands of dollars in debt, and creditors were calling him every day. He felt like a failure, like he had let down everyone who believed in him. One night, sitting at his kitchen table surrounded by unpaid bills, he broke down completely. He cried like he hadn't cried since he was a child, and through his tears he asked the universe, "What am I doing wrong? Why can't I make this work? Please show me what I need to do differently." The next morning, David woke up with a strange sense of clarity. He realized that he had been so focused on forcing his business to succeed that he had completely ignored what his customers were actually asking for. He had been trying to sell what he thought they should want instead of listening to what they actually needed. He spent the next week conducting informal interviews with past customers and potential clients, simply asking them about their challenges and what solutions they wished existed. What he discovered completely shifted his business model. Within 3 months of implementing changes based on that feedback, his revenue tripled. Within 6 months, he had paid off all his debt. The universe had been trying to guide him all along, but he had been too attached to his original vision to hear the message. Sometimes the answer we're seeking requires us to let go of what we think should happen and open ourselves to what wants to happen through us. Maybe your question to the universe isn't about money, but about love. Perhaps you've been heartbroken, betrayed, or lonely, and you're wondering if you'll ever find someone who truly sees you, values you, and loves you the way you deserve to be loved. Or maybe you're in a relationship that feels stuck, disconnected, or unfulfilling, and you're asking the universe whether you should stay or go. Love is one of the most complex and beautiful aspects of the human experience, and it's also one of the areas where we often receive the most profound lessons from the universe. If you're single and longing for partnership, the universe might be asking you to first become the partner you're looking for. What qualities do you want in a relationship? Are you embodying those qualities yourself? Do you want someone who's honest, communicative, emotionally available, and committed to growth? Then you must become those things first. The universe operates on the principle of like attracts like. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. So if you want to call in extraordinary love, you must become extraordinary in how you love yourself and others. Let me tell you about Maria, a woman who spent years searching for her soulmate. She went on countless dates, tried every dating app, attended social events, and even hired a matchmaker. But nothing worked. Every relationship either fizzled out quickly or turned out to be deeply disappointing. She felt like she was doomed to be alone, like there was something fundamentally wrong with her that made her unlovable. One evening, after yet another failed date, she sat in her car and asked the universe through frustrated tears, "Why can't I find love? What's wrong with me?" And then, in the silence that followed, she heard a quiet voice within her say, "You're looking for someone to complete you, but you're already complete. You're looking for someone to make you happy. But happiness is an inside job. When you stop searching and start living fully as the magnificent being you already are, love will find you." Maria decided to take that message seriously. She stopped dating entirely and instead focused on falling in love with her own life. She took up painting, something she had always wanted to try but never made time for. She started traveling solo to places she had always dreamed of visiting. She deepened her friendships and spent quality time with the people who genuinely cared about her. She volunteered at a local animal shelter, which brought her immense joy. She created a life that was so rich and fulfilling that she genuinely stopped caring whether she met someone or not. And then, of course, that's exactly when love appeared. She met someone at a painting class, someone who was also focused on their own growth and happiness, someone who didn't need her to complete them, but wanted to share their already complete life with her. Their relationship was different from anything she had experienced before because it was built on wholeness rather than neediness, on joy rather than desperation. The universe had been waiting for her to learn that lesson all along. And if you're already in a relationship that's struggling, the universe might be inviting you to have honest conversations that you've been avoiding. So many relationships die, not from lack of love, but from lack of communication. We hold things in, we make assumptions, we build resentments, and before we know it, there's a wall between us and the person we once felt so connected to. The universe is asking you to be brave enough to be vulnerable, to say what needs to be said, to listen without defensiveness, and to fight for the connection if it's worth fighting for. But the universe is also giving you permission to release what no longer serves you. Not every relationship is meant to last forever. Some people come into our lives for a season to teach us something we needed to learn, and then the chapter closes. Releasing someone with love and gratitude rather than with bitterness and resentment is one of the most spiritually mature things you can do. Trust that the universe has someone or something better aligned for you, even if you can't see it yet. Perhaps your question to the universe is about your spiritual path. Maybe you've been feeling disconnected from your higher self, from God, from source energy, or whatever term resonates with you. You might have been going through the motions of spiritual practices without feeling that deep connection you once had. Or maybe you're just beginning your spiritual journey and you're confused about where to start, what to believe, and how to develop your relationship with the divine. The universe wants you to know that spirituality is not about perfection. It's about presence. It's not about following a rigid set of rules or beliefs. It's about finding what creates genuine connection and peace in your heart. Your spiritual practice might look completely different from someone else's, and that's exactly as it should be. Some people find the divine in church, some in nature, some in meditation, some in creative expression, some in acts of service. The universe doesn't care about the form. It cares about the sincerity of your intention and the openness of your heart. If you've been feeling spiritually disconnected, try this. Spend 10 minutes each day in silence. Not scrolling on your phone, not watching TV, not distracting yourself with anything. Just sit in silence and breathe. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will race with thoughts, worries, and to-do lists. But if you keep showing up to that silence every day, something will begin to shift. You'll start to hear the whispers of your intuition. You'll start to feel the presence of something greater than yourself. You'll start to remember who you really are beneath all the roles you play and all the masks you wear. The universe is always speaking to us, but we're usually too busy and too loud to hear it. Silence is the portal through which divine guidance enters. I want to share the story of James, a man who had lost his faith completely. He had grown up in a religious household, but as he got older and experienced more of life's hardships, he began to question everything he had been taught. When his mother passed away after a long battle with illness, despite all his prayers, he felt betrayed by the universe. He decided that there was no divine plan, no loving force guiding humanity, no point in believing in anything beyond what he could see and touch. He became cynical, bitter, and closed off. But deep down there was an emptiness that nothing could fill. He tried to fill it with work, with achievements, with material possessions, but the void remained. One day, while hiking alone in the mountains, James sat down on a rock overlooking a vast valley. The sun was setting, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and purple. In that moment of natural beauty, something cracked open inside him. Tears began to flow, tears he had been holding back for years. He found himself speaking out loud to the universe, to God, to whatever might be listening. I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you can hear me. But if you are there, I need you to help me believe again. I can't live with this emptiness anymore. As he sat there in the fading light, a profound sense of peace washed over him. It wasn't a voice or a vision, just a deep knowing that he was being held, that he had always been held, even in his darkest moments of doubt and anger. James's spiritual journey didn't involve going back to the religion of his childhood. Instead, he developed his own relationship with the divine, one based on personal experience rather than inherited beliefs. He began to see evidence of a loving intelligence everywhere, in the perfect design of nature, in the synchronicities that appeared in his life, in the kindness of strangers, in the resilience of the human spirit. He learned that losing faith was sometimes necessary to find a deeper, more authentic faith. The universe had never abandoned him. He had simply been looking for it in the wrong places and in the wrong ways. Now I want to address something that many of you are experiencing right now: anxiety and lack of peace. The world feels chaotic, doesn't it? There's so much uncertainty, so much division, so much noise. You might be feeling overwhelmed by the state of the world, by your personal circumstances, or by the constant pressure to keep up, to do more, to be more. You might be lying awake at night with your mind racing, replaying past mistakes or catastrophizing about future disasters. You might feel like you're constantly on edge, waiting for the next bad thing to happen. The universe wants to remind you of something essential. Peace is not something you find in external circumstances. It's something you cultivate from within. No matter what's happening around you, you have the power to create an inner sanctuary of calm and presence. Here's a practice that has helped countless people find peace in the midst of chaos. When you feel anxiety rising, stop whatever you're doing and place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes and take 5 deep breaths, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. As you breathe, say to yourself, "I am safe in this moment. I am exactly where I need to be. The universe is guiding me." Feel your heartbeat under your hand. That heartbeat is proof that you're alive, that you're here, that you have another chance to choose peace over panic. Anxiety is often our mind trying to control or predict the future, but the future doesn't exist yet. All we ever have is this present moment, and in this present moment, right now, as you're watching this video, you are okay. You're breathing, you're alive, and you're being held by a universe that wants your highest good. Trust that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, even when you can't see the bigger picture. Let me share one more powerful technique for cultivating inner peace. It's called the gratitude anchor. Every night before you go to sleep, write down 3 specific things that happened that day that you're grateful for. Not generic things like my health or my family, but specific moments. The way the morning light came through your window, the smile a stranger gave you, the taste of your favorite meal, the sound of rain on the roof, a kind text from a friend, a problem you solved at work, 5 minutes of quiet time you carved out for yourself. This practice rewires your brain to look for the good, to notice the beauty and the blessings that are always present, but often overlooked. When you train your mind to focus on what's working rather than what's wrong, your entire experience of life begins to shift. The universe responds to your attention. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you'll see more problems. If you focus on blessings, you'll see more blessings. It's not about denying reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about choosing where to place your primary attention and energy. I also want to talk to those of you who have been asking the universe about your purpose. You might be feeling lost, wondering what you're supposed to be doing with your life, what contribution you're meant to make, what legacy you're meant to leave. This is one of the most common and most profound questions humans ask, and it's also one that the universe loves to answer, but not always in the way we expect. Your purpose is not some grand, singular thing that you have to figure out and then dedicate your entire life to. Your purpose evolves as you evolve. It's not a destination, it's a direction, and it's often much simpler than you think. Your purpose might be to raise your children with love and consciousness, to create beauty through art or music, to heal people through medicine or energy work, to make people laugh, to solve problems, to build community, to protect the environment, or to simply be a light in the darkness for those who are struggling. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step that feels right, that feels aligned, that lights up something inside you. The universe reveals your purpose through what you're naturally drawn to, what brings you joy, what makes you lose track of time, and what breaks your heart about the world. Pay attention to those clues. They're not random. They're the universe's way of showing you where your gifts meet the world's needs. And please, release the pressure of thinking your purpose has to be something huge and impressive. Sometimes the most profound purposes are quiet and unnoticed by the masses, but deeply felt by the few lives you touch. You don't need to change the world. You just need to be fully yourself and share your authentic gifts. That is enough. That is everything. There's a beautiful story about a teacher named Elena who spent years feeling like she wasn't making a real difference. She taught at a small school in a struggling neighborhood, and many of her students came from difficult backgrounds. She often felt overwhelmed and questioned whether her work mattered at all. The system felt broken, the challenges felt insurmountable, and she wondered if she should quit and find a career that felt more meaningful and impactful. One day, she asked the universe in frustration, "Am I wasting my life here? Is this really my purpose, or should I be doing something bigger?" 2 weeks later, Elena ran into a former student at a coffee shop. This student, now a young adult, approached her with tears in her eyes and said, "Miss Elena, I've been wanting to find you for years to thank you. You probably don't remember this, but in 4th grade, I was going through the worst time of my life. My parents were getting divorced, I was being bullied, and I had completely given up on myself. One day, you pulled me aside and told me that you saw something special in me, that I was smart and capable and worthy of good things. You said you believed in me even when I couldn't believe in myself. Those words saved my life. They became the voice in my head that kept me going through everything that followed. Because of you, I graduated high school. I went to college. And now I'm about to start my career as a social worker so I can help other kids the way you helped me. You changed my entire trajectory, and I needed you to know that." Eleanor stood there, completely stunned, with tears streaming down her face. She realized that she had been measuring her impact by the wrong metrics. She had been looking for grand, visible results, when the real magic was happening in small, invisible moments that she might never fully know about. The universe had sent her that encounter to remind her that her purpose was exactly where she was, touching lives one heart at a time, planting seeds that might not bloom for years but would bloom nonetheless. She never questioned her calling again. Your purpose might not be loud or dramatic or celebrated, but it is significant. Every kind word you speak, every act of compassion you extend, every time you choose love over fear, you are fulfilling your purpose. You are raising the vibration of the planet. You are being exactly who the universe needs you to be. Trust that your life has meaning, even when you can't see the full picture of how your existence is impacting the web of humanity. The butterfly effect is real. Your smallest actions create ripples that extend infinitely outward in ways you'll never fully comprehend. Before we close this journey together, I want to remind you of something absolutely crucial. The universe is always conspiring in your favor. Always. Even when things feel hard, even when you can't see the purpose or the lesson, even when you feel abandoned or forgotten, the universe is working behind the scenes, arranging synchronicities, orchestrating encounters, and opening doors that you don't even know exist yet. Your job is not to control how or when things happen. Your job is to trust, to take aligned action, to stay open, and to believe that you are worthy of all the good things that are coming your way. You are not too broken to be healed. You are not too lost to be found. You are not too old to start over. You are not too scared to be brave. The universe sees your potential, even when you can't see it yourself, and it's constantly inviting you to step into the highest version of who you're meant to be. So what was your question? What have you been asking the universe? Take a moment right now and speak it internally. Acknowledge it, honor it, and then open yourself to receive the answer, trusting that it might come in unexpected ways. Through a conversation, a book, a song, a dream, a sudden insight, or even through this very video. The answer is already on its way to you. Your only job is to recognize it when it arrives and to have the courage to act on it. Remember, you didn't click on this video by accident. The universe brought you here because you needed to hear these words at this exact moment in your journey. You are seen, you are heard, and you are loved beyond measure by a universe that wants nothing more than for you to thrive, to grow, and to remember the magnificent spiritual being that you truly are. The signs are all around you, but you have to be willing to see them. They come in the form of repeated numbers, unexpected encounters, songs that play at exactly the right moment, words that jump out at you from a page, dreams that feel more real than waking life, and gut feelings that guide you in a certain direction, even when logic says otherwise. The universe is constantly communicating with you through a language of symbols and synchronicities. When you start paying attention, when you open your awareness to the subtle ways the divine speaks, you'll be amazed at how much guidance you've been receiving all along that you were too distracted or too skeptical to notice. I want you to make a commitment to yourself right now. For the next 7 days, pay attention to the signs. Notice what keeps showing up in your life. Notice what people say to you. Notice what thoughts or ideas keep recurring. Notice what opportunities or challenges present themselves. Keep a journal and write down anything that feels significant, even if you don't understand why. At the end of 7 days, look back at what you've recorded and ask yourself, what is the universe trying to tell me? What pattern is emerging? What direction am I being pointed toward? This practice will sharpen your intuition and strengthen your connection to divine guidance. The more you acknowledge and act on the signs you receive, the more signs the universe will send you. It's a beautiful feedback loop of trust and guidance. And remember, the universe doesn't just send you signs, it also sends you tests. Sometimes what looks like a setback is actually the universe testing your faith, your resilience, your commitment to your path. When doors close, when plans fall apart, when obstacles appear, ask yourself, is this a sign to stop, or is this a test to see if I'll keep going? The answer usually lies in how you feel in your heart. If something feels deeply wrong, if you feel contracted and heavy, that's often a sign that you're moving in the wrong direction. But if something feels challenging yet exciting, if you feel scared but also strangely alive, that's often a sign that you're on the verge of a breakthrough and the universe is asking you to trust and persevere. Now, I want to invite you to be part of our community. Leave a comment below and tell me what resonated with you in this video. What question have you been asking the universe? What sign have you received recently? What transformation are you going through? Your story matters, and it might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to keep going. And if you want, tell me from which corner of the world you are watching this video. Your comment matters, and I want to read it and respond to you. For more exciting stories like this, click on the video that appears on your screen right now.